How does the best colorway released have the shittiest quality materials? What's up, sneaker people? It's your boy FB Kicks in Gear, and I am back with another video. And you see what we got right in front of us, the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Fragment. My personal favorite. It's up there tied with the OG Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows, and these, what a beautiful shoe. And everybody knows the hype and mayhem that happened when the Fragment release went down and how the replica scene has been non-stop on the necks of these shoes. So I'm going to continue my legit checking series when it comes to the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows. And before we get into the nitty gritty of this video, I just want to say a couple of things. One, first and foremost, if I have a batch name, I will call it out and I will let people know. If I don't have the batch name, like in the case of this video, I don't say it because I don't know it. So if you are ever watching a FB Kicks in Gear video and you are wondering, hey, I wonder what batch this is, and I haven't mentioned it in the video, I don't know it. But fear not, just because I don't know the batch doesn't mean that you can't find out. So in every video, I always pull up an Instagram page where you can find all of the detailed information on the shoe. You'll get detailed pictures and visuals of almost everything that I bring up on this page and in this comparison. So message those accounts, do your research, all of the information that you need, just like I usually do in every video, is going to be on the Instagram account that pops up on the screen. So fear not, guys. Just because I'm not saying it here because I want to protect my account doesn't mean you guys can't do the research yourself. So please do that and we'll go from there. Next thing that I want to say is, remember, we are on Discord now. Saturday Morning Losers Club. Isn't that a clever name? It's a club that we're all part of. But get together with more like-minded sneakerheads so that we can talk about legit checking, we can talk about super hype shoes, we can talk about shoes that are not hyped. And it's not just a conversation place. We also do giveaways. This month we're giving away a retail Supreme beanie, and I'll let that flash up on the screen right now. The only thing that you have to do to enter into any of our giveaways is to subscribe to my channel and to join the Discord. Once you do that, we'll choose a winner, and as long as you're subscribed to me, you get a free retail product. So with all that said, guys, you've got all the details, you got all the information. Join up, hit the link in the description. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about the shoes. And here we have the Fragment Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott, or Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Fragment, or Travis X Fragment Design Jordan 1 Low, whatever you want to call it. This is them. This is a grail piece for a lot of people. This is my retail pair over here, my worn retail pair, and this is a replica of the same shoe. What are some of the differences you guys can see? After 50, 60 plus comparison videos of the Travis Scott Jordan 1 variety, all of the releases, I can tell you that there are certain things that I like to hone in on when it comes to this stuff, and I try to share as much as I can with you guys on this page. Unfortunately, I can't start with the box, I can't start with the paper, and I can't start with some of the accessories because I don't have them for my particular pair. I bought this pair used without a box, so the box that I have and the box that I use is a replica box, so there's no value in doing that comparison. I also have a replica insole in mind because when I pulled out the retail insole to clean it up, it did not come out nicely. It came out in chunks, so I said, fuck it, let me get a replica insole and throw them in there. They're just as good, they're just as comfortable. I did have retail laces with them, but because I pulled them out so often, and since I'm using a replica box, there are replica laces in there, they've mixed and mingled, so that's another thing that I can't compare. But what we can do is we can compare the actual shoe, the actual features, the actual colors, and that's how we're gonna start it off. So let's do my favorite view when it comes to doing these Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low comparisons. the side by side. And I like this view because one, it gives you a good representation of what the authentic reverse swoosh needs to look like and what the replica swoosh needs to look like. And you can see what you're actually getting, what you should be getting if you are looking for an authentic pair. And one thing that I can say, which is super impressive, is the fact that the midsole is not a super dark pissy yellow, and that is something that replicas have struggled with forever, and I have no idea why. All of a sudden, halfway through 2023, I'm starting to see more and more and more batches that don't have the piss yellow soles, so it's starting to get a little bit harder to tell them apart when it comes to that, especially since my authentic pair is used. In fact, it looks like my authentic pair might just be a little bit darker than the rep. I don't know, you guys tell me. Another thing that I'm starting to see is that they are inching closer and closer and closer to what an authentic reverse swoosh looks like. They always struggled with the color. They got the material right very, very early, but they always struggled with the color, and it's definitely getting a lot closer. I will say, just looking at it right here, the rep is just a tad bit paler, maybe like a half shade paler than the authentic pair, but I have seen so many different ways that reps have gotten this reverse swoosh wrong. So this is definitely a lot more impressive than what I've seen in the past. So take a look at that, pay attention to what the contrast looks like between the midsole and the connecting reverse swoosh, because using that as a mental reference definitely has helped me legit check a lot of shoes. The next thing that I'm going to go to is the back view, and let's just, for the sake of consistency, we will do the back view of the same shoe here, and you can see what they look like side by side. Now, one of the things that you guys have noticed me call out in many of my replica Fragment low videos is that there always seems to be a difference in the color of the blue, and I have no idea why. But the same thing is happening here. You can see that the replica blue is definitely on the darker end when compared to the authentic. If I had to point something out based on that, it would probably just be that the black lining is a little bit shinier and glossier on the rep than it is on the authentic pair. From a shape perspective, they look pretty close, but the rep is just a tad bit taller. And if you look at the side-by-side view, you can see that the rep in general is a bit taller and beefier than the authentic pair. Look at this distance here. I'm not going to pull out a tape measure, but you guys can see the low profile of the authentic on the top versus the little bit meatier rep on the bottom, and that chunkiness kind of extends all the way out to the toe box as well. And you can see that nice slim toe box that the Fragments are known to have, but not only is it flat and slim, you can see this little bulge coming out from the absolute front of the shoe. I say it makes it look like the toe box has a belly. When you compare that to the rep, you just get a thicker profile view, and the black leather comes up to literally the top of the white leather. So from a shape perspective, there's definitely some differences there, and it's something that you can pay attention to. Now, understand that as you wear these shoes, that's going to change, right? The shape of the shoe changes a little bit, but you can tell that right off the bat, this is just a chunkier shoe. So with that said, let's take a look at the tongues for a couple of reasons, but most importantly, I want to start with the color difference. You can see that on the left, the authentic pair has a paler, a little bit yellower tongue than the rep, which is fleshier and pinker. However, the Fragment design positioning on the tongue, with it being very close to the Nike Air, is correct. This is the way it's supposed to look like if you are a size 12 and below. And I'm specifically talking about the gap here on the right shoe of the Fragment lows. You consistently, there is little to no gap for these sizes below size 12. Everything else above starts to change a little bit, and you will see a gap, but here, this is what it's supposed to look like on a size 11, and the reps have gotten that right. Another thing that I've noticed, which is a little bit different, is where the authentic pair, the stitch on the side here actually ends before touching the border of the tongue, the rep just stitches right into the tongue. So this is definitely something specific to this batch or this pair. That's not something that I have seen on many reps before. So just something that I noticed. One of the final things that I want to take a look at specifically is the text. The text on the side of these shoes is a huge indicator if you know what to look for, and it's not that hard. When you focus on the Authentic pair, you see that this text is bold. It's not neat. It's not like a crisp, clean font. It looks like whatever they did, they took like a factory code and they slapped it on the midsole. They didn't pay too much attention to it. It's not pretty. When you look at the rep, you notice that the letters are significantly cleaner. The placement is significantly straighter. It looks like they put time and effort into how they laid this code down, and that is 100% a tell for the lows. When you put them side by side, you can see a pretty drastic difference in my opinion. Reps struggle with this. I haven't seen a single rep get this right. They're always cleaner, they're always straighter. The font is definitely always less heavy, not as bold than the Authentic counterpart. So definitely an easy thing to point to. And one thing that I did just notice is looking at the top view here, looking at the sock liners, the rep has like almost like a powder blue sock liner, while the Authentic is just a little bit darker, a little bit more muted. So that's interesting. But other than that, I'll do the midsole test. It's a solid midsole like the Authentic pair. I'm not gonna weigh these, but when I put them side by side, they feel like they're similar weights. I tried this on earlier. It is true to size. So when it comes to those kind of things, as much as you would like to point and try to dig into every single detail, a lot of them don't matter. Pay attention to the things that should not be different. The shape, the colors, the materials used. Pay attention to those things, and 9 out of 10 times, you'll be fine. You'll be able to authenticate your pair. So with that said, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to do a blacklight test. I don't feel like it's necessary, but if you would like to see what an Authentic pair does look like under the blacklight, head over to one of my older videos. I have definitely done the blacklight test before, but you guys tell me what you think. Do you think that these have risen to the point of obsoleting the Authentic pair if you're in the market for one of these? I'll tell you, I am never ever upset that I spent money on an Authentic shoe ever, especially one like this, which I enjoy so much. But it's interesting to see how close replicas have gotten this shoe. But it's the small things, right? It's the small things that keep me always buying the Authentic shoes. The second that I found out that there's a slight difference in color of the blues, I'm like, my OCD, no thank you. I might wear one just as like a beater around shoe, but for me, no, I will not be stunting in a shoe like this. Unfortunately, that's just not my style. Hey, but I'm not here to judge people. I'm not here to tell people what to do, what to wear. That there are reps that I would wear and do wear that aren't hype shoes. So there's that. But for these, I'm very happy that I have the Authentic pair. Worn in and wrinkled as they are, I'm happy to have them. So with that said, guys, remember, join the fucking Discord, get yourself a Supreme beanie, win that shit for free, and chop it up with people like me, people like you, and others in the community, like-minded people, and let's continue to enjoy sneakers together. So with that said, please remember you can see all of the pictures and details and everything that you would need for this shoe for your own research on the screen. And if there's anything that I missed, feel free to reach out to me on Discord and I will go into more detail. So with that said, guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace.